I made a video just like this a couple of days after 2K22 dropped, where I just kind of explained what all the badges do and what the best badges in the game were. And you guys showed a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people said it really helped them out. And now we pretty much completely understand what the best badges are, the best badge layout, what are tier 1 and what are tier 2 badges. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. First, we'll start off with the shooting badges, then we'll go to playmaking, then we'll do finishing badges, and we'll finish off with defensive and rebounding badges. I want to get right into it, but before I do, if you guys haven't already, please drop a like on the video. It helps me out a ton. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And let me show you guys the best badge layouts on NBA 2K22. And first things first, we're gonna start with the shooting badges, which is probably, the most important. Now, this is what I currently use on my playmaking shot creator. You see, I get 23 shooting badges. This is my shooting badge layout. And I think that all these shooting badges I would put in tier 1, which is basically the most important shooting badges in the game. But let's say that you're not on a playmaking shot creator. You're on like a two-way. I have the perfect badge layout for you too. So you only get gold shooting badges, we'll say around 10. So you take off blinders because you're not going to need that. You're going to put Hudson Hunter to gold, Sniper to gold. You're not going to use Deadeye or Stop and Pop. Then you're going to put Green Machine on silver. And I really like Stop and Pop, so I'm going to put that on gold. This is the perfect badge layout for two ways, not high three-pointers. There's also another really good shooting badge that I personally don't use. That's Mismatch Expert. I don't use screens. If you use screens, you need to use Mismatch Expert, but I don't. If you're an ISO player, these shooting badges I'm showing you are perfect. All tier 1, the most important shooting badges. But real quick, I want to talk about these two badges because I've gotten a lot of questions and a lot of people still ask, should I use Chef? Should I use Limitless? What do they do? So we know in past 2Ks we've had one Limitless badge, Limitless Range, and it's been key. You've used it every year. But this year is weird. They separated it into these two shooting badges and Chef. Now to proc Chef, you have to be moving for it for a couple seconds and then shoot within a second of stopping, and you have to be like 30 feet out or something. So you have to be far. So it's really hard to even activate. You're not going to activate it every single time. So honestly, I don't use this, and I don't even think that you should, right? And then Limitless Spot Up, basically the opposite of Chef. Same thing, makes it you shoot from super deep, but it's just spot ups. So if you're a guard, you would never use this. The only time I would see you using this if you're like a stretch big spotting up at the hash, but everyone knows that just the corner is better to spot up in this year. And then these is what I would say would be your T2 badges, your tier 2 badges: corner specialist, catch and shoot, rhythm shooter, and volume shooter. Rhythm shooter is pretty good, kind of like Stop and Pop a little bit, but just not as good, I don't think, so I don't use that. Volume shooter, it's been in the game for like 6 years now. Just basically the more shots you take, the higher your rating goes. Not really very good. Corner specialist and catch and shoot though. These, if you are a spot up, if you're a glass cleaner, if you're a two-way stretch, these become tier 1 badges. You need these badges if you are a spot up as well as hot zone hunter. Those three, as well as sniper, those 4 will be your most important as a spot up build for shooting badges. And then the rest of these that you see I put on bronze, honestly, it's not like these are awful badges, but you just don't have enough badge points to actually use them, so there's just no point. So these badges I would cross off. And like I said, if you're a playmaking shot creator, this is the badges you want to use. Tier 1 badges, the most important and best shooting badge layout right here. Now for my playmaking badges, this is what I use. So they added 2 playmaking badges this year that are key. Last year, everybody used handles for days, quick first step, unpluckable. You needed those. This year, they added quick chain, which no matter how you play, you need as a guard. And then hyperdrive, which is one of the best playmaking badges for ISO players, which is how I play. So these 5 are absolutely key. Hyperdrive, handles for days, quick chain, quick first step, unpluckable. You need those 5. And then bailout, I promise you don't need anything more than bronze, and it comes in clutch so much. So I really think that bailout bronze is key. And then this last bronze I put on bullet passer. I might switch that to tight handles, because if you can know how to activate it, you can actually get tight handles Hall of Fame, and then you'll break people every time you do certain size ups. It's really good. Unfortunately, I don't have enough badges. I think 25 playmaking badges, you'd be able to still have bronze bailout and Hall of Fame tight handles with these 5 Hall of Fame. So these are all your tier 1 playmaking badges. Add tight handles into that, and these are just the best ones. And now I want to touch up on Floor General and Dimer. The thing about these two badges is that not that they're bad, right? If you're playing Pro-Am or something or Rec, great badges to have on. But when you play on the twos, when you're playing with a spot up, they shouldn't miss their shots anyway, and there just straight up isn't enough playmaking badges. They added Quick Chain and they added Hyperdrive. So that's 8 playmaking badge points that you kind of need to use. So last year, or not last year, but in 2K20 you could use Dimer and Floor General. This year, you can't. There's not enough badge points. They're still good badges though. And then these 4 would be your tier 2 badges, right? Like, you're not going to use these badges. You're not going to use Needle Threader or Ankle Breaker if you have enough badge points, because you're going to use those 5 Hall of Fame plus Floor General, probably Dimer, Bailout, Tight Handles, right? Bullet Passer. You straight up just don't have enough badge points. But this is what I would say would be tier 2. I just threw Floor General and Dimer in there because they're still good badges, just not enough badge points. Now for finishing badges, when it comes down to guards, I think there's 5 key ones. And you see I have them all here. Limitless Takeoff, Posterizer, Slithery Finisher, Mouse in the House, and Giant Slayer. But more than likely, you're not going to have 20 finishing badge points, right? You're going to have anywhere between 10 to 15 if you have the offensive thread build or the slashing playmaker. And this is what I would do. You're not going to use Mouse in the House because you're going to be 6'3" or 6'4". So you're going to want to use, I think you have 12 on that build. So these 2, Limitless Takeoff and Posterizer, these are the 2 most important finishing badges in the entire game. You need to have those 2 badges on, just too important not to. And then it's your choice, Giant Slayer or Slithery Finisher. I think Slithery Finisher will be better just because you can avoid contact when you don't get those contact dunks. Maybe you can, get in between them, get under them for a layup. So I will put this on. But Giant Slayer, Mouse in the House, for guards or any build that ISOs, even just a pure slasher, I think these would be the 5 key finishing badges. And also Unstrippable would be kind of up there. It depends. If you're a slasher and people sit in the paint, Unstrippable is definitely like a must. But for like offensive threats, slashing playmakers, I don't think you need this badge. But there's a lot of tier 2 finishing badges. You see, this is what I would have on right here. Stuff like Fast Twitch, this would only be useful for centers, right? Like this would never be useful for my slashing playmaker, my 6'4". But even like a slasher, this could be useful. You just grab the board, you go back up with a tough standing dunk. Lob City Finisher, this will always be tough. But something like Fearless Finisher, right? Like, let's say you do have a slasher. You have like 26 badge points. You put on those 5 that I showed you, and then maybe Unstrippable and Fearless Finisher, I think would probably be the best total badge layout you could get, right? Unless you go for crazy stuff. Acrobat could be good too, but other stuff, something like Back Down Punisher, that's for post scores. Hook Specialist, Dream Shake, that's for post scores. We don't like those around here, so we don't talk about those badges. And for finishing badges, this is what I would use. You see, with about 22 upgrades here, obviously Clamps, Intimidator, you need those 2 to be on Hall of Fame, right? Those are the 2 best defensive badges by a lot. Something like Menace, I think, is up there with the best defensive badges. And then everybody knows Interceptor, you can just change games if you can get a great passing lane steal. Chase Down Artist, with how you can get chase down blocks this year, it's actually really good, because if you go against a play shot that tries driving on you, they don't get a dunk, you can get some crazy chase downs. Pick Dodger, I do not think is going to be that great, just because people don't really set screens this year on the 2s. But if you play Pro-Am, if you play Stage, Pick Dodger will be good. Hustler, this badge I originally thought was awful. I thought it was useless. I learned since then I was wrong. Hustler is actually really good. If you have a 50-50 with someone, if you're chasing after a loose ball, if you dive after a loose ball, this badge will come in clutch. Trust me, this badge is actually really, really strong. But like I said, these are mainly for guards, right? If you're a center, obviously you need something like Worm. You're going to need Rebound Chaser. You're probably going to need Pogo Stick maybe. Box, obviously. But this is for guards, and this would be your... I'm not even going to go to tier 1 or tier 3. This is what I would just use for defensive badges. And even if you get more badge points, you up your Interceptor. You put your Pick Dodger gold. You put your Chase Down gold. Maybe you throw on a Rebound Chaser. I don't know. But I just feel like you don't shy away from these key, 8 defensive badges that you can just put different Hall of Fame, silver, gold, bronze. You see 3-1-3-1 is how I had the layout. It's just perfect. And that's going to do it for the badges and what I think you guys should use. The best badges on 2K22, the best badge layouts. I hope this video did help you out. And if you did, do not hesitate to drop a like, sub if you're new, and I'm out.